kikatiba ni afya na ukulima, na kwa hivyo notwithstanding the standing order, the Speaker may allow reference to any matter before the Senate or a committee. So this matter, which is here, it's under the know of the Speaker, and therefore we are well constituted and will proceed with it. So, Bwana Waziri, hebu niseme kwamba ukulima umekatuliwa. Na wewe kwa sababu ulikuwa senator katika hili jumba, unajua vizuri kwamba kama kuna vitu mbili zimekatuliwa kikatiba ni afya na ukulima. Na kwa hivyo, kwa sababu mbolea ya ruzuku imeenda katika gatuzi za Kenya hii, watu ambao wanafaa kusimamia na kujibu kutafuta majibu ya swala hili, nadhani seneti ni mojawapo ambayo inafaa kuangalia maneno. Kwa hivyo, Bwana Waziri, ukiwa hapa, kaa kitako, jibu maswali yote ambayo utaulizwa, alafu nadhani tukitoka hapa tutakuja na suluhu ya hili jambo. Na jambo la mwisho, Waziri, unajua punda ni punda. Hata umpake rangi ya ng'ombe umpeleke sokoni saa 6 hatalia kama punda. Sisi kabla ya kukuita hapa hatukutaka kukuletea habari tunayosikia kama kamati. Tuko na tabia ya kwenda mashinani. Tumezunguka kila mahali kwa sababu ya mbolea. Tuko na video za wakulima ambao wanalia. Inaweza kuwa unasema ya kwamba sio gushi lakini haikufikisha kiwango. Kamusi ya Kiswahili inasema ya kwamba kitu gushi ni kitu ambacho hakijafikisha kiwango. Kwa hivyo hilo ni jambo la Kiswahili, Bwana Waziri, na hiyo ndio tunataka tujue, kwa sababu tukitoka hapa lazima tuwe na suluhu ya wakulima. Hiyo ndio muhimu zaidi. Kwa hivyo Waziri, nadhani ni vizuri tuendelee na kwa hii makaratasi ambao Senator wa Makueni ameuliza. Hii maswali ni maswali ambayo tuliuliza Waziri. Kwa hivyo ni majibu ya maswali. Hebu ni mtetee kidogo hapo. Kwa hivyo ile maswali tulimuuliza kama kamati ndio amejibu. Kwa hivyo utaendelea kusoma. Unajua ni wakili, hata tayari unajua, ushajua maswali unafaa kuuliza. Kwa hivyo kwa sababu ya muda, nadhani ni vizuri tuendelee. Kwa hivyo Waziri, malizia ili tuendelee tafadhali.
Chair, with your kind permission, there's only one issue of sub judice. And the principle of sub judice is that if the minister has information that this matter is already live in court, and it begins with where did it get live first. If it was live first in the House, then it is sub judice in court. If it was live first in court, then it is sub judice here. So, and in the event there are matters pending before court or any court order, then the first thing is for you to supply the chair with the court proceedings. In the event those court proceedings don't exist, or they are not with you here, and for the chair to give direction, then we can only proceed. I thank you, Chair.
Yes.
Chairman, you know, in my opening remarks, what I sought was your guidance on those 3 issues, because I wanted you to guide me on how to proceed forward. And when I also raised the issue of sub judice, is because I also wanted to bring it to your attention, if you are aware, so that you tell us how we proceed. Because the gentleman before this committee who are found here is a court order, which I saw and I wanted to know. So I do not have a problem sitting here and trying to explain to the committee. But I want us to be open-minded and very objective, because I want to be truthful. And by being truthful is I must tell you what the truth is, regardless how painful it could be. Because, Chairman, you agree with me, in this country, there are so, and especially in this space, people have made themselves scientists. People are experts in areas they do not understand, areas which they do not know, and want to bring unnecessary arguments. So we are here at least to share information from our side, and whatever you have gathered out there is not within, I'm not sister of the matter. I do not know. So I am ready to engage, we are ready to share information, because we serve our people, we serve the same people, so that we can be able to understand each other and be able to resolve the problem wherever it is. But someone will be surprised. But I think it's in the answer. Properly guided, I will proceed. I'm ready to take any question. I only make reference or ask any officer from my ministry to support me where I feel it is necessary. But as the hand of the ministry, policy director of the ministry, I have the capacity and the ability to respond to the questions that are before this committee. Because I'm even the one who has responded to the same questions before the National Assembly the other day, and there's need for consistency because the answer bears witness.
Okay, I think I'll give this opportunity to senators to ask questions.
Thank you very much, through the chair. I've read through the responses that the minister did give to the National Assembly, and indeed they are quite comprehensive. But there's something that I saw conspicuously missing. I was trying to get the nexus between a company called MEMS and the manufacturers and a gentleman called Collins Kipchumba Ngetish. Could the minister maybe shed a bit of light on that?
Yes.
Chairman, again, and I am, my friend, I did not bore you. When I asked about being procedural, because I don't know which question that one is, if I would be allowed to answer the questions that you wrote or asked from our end, the response, and then you can raise supplementary questions, probably there won't be flow. We won't be able to know where that one is really coming from. But now, I'm hearing those words for the first time. I don't know whether there is something where there is MEMS and I don't know the other.
Through the chair, I think I did not want to ask the same question where the Waziri has given answers. To me, they are satisfactory. But this is coming as a supplementary question. The linkage between these company, which is conspicuously missing, that is the MEMS Distributors Limited, and a gentleman called Collins Kipchumba Ngetish. If Waziri does not know of the existence, then it is also good to say so.
Chair, with your kind permission, if I understand the minister well, first there was a request for statement which was done by Senator Boni Halwale, the senator for Kakamega, to this House, and that is what was, presented and forwarded to the minister. And at the same time, when that was presented in this House, there were supplementary issues which came up, and that's why this matter was brought to our committee so that we can go around the country and get the facts. So, Chair, I think the member for Nyeri, the senator for Nyeri, is quite in order. An answer as to Halwale's question has been presented. But upon that presentation, other issues have come up, which I believe should be perfectly within the knowledge of the minister. Remember, the minister is on oath.
Chairman, I'm on oath.
Yes,
and I will exercise my fidelity to the law and the Constitution and the rules of procedure of this House. And Chairman, we know I am here pursuant to your invitation. Yeah? And the issues that make me appear or bring me here today are the issues that were raised on your letter or in your letter dated 3rd April 2024. And that's the response I have prepared. That is what is before this committee. So if the members have other questions outside the purview of my response, I do not do. But if they were to come out of a supplementary question after my response, probably I will know how to answer it. But when you look at the answer signed by the clerk of the National, of the Senate,
Yes, I'll give you this opportunity to go through your response.
Yeah.
And I think I had given you, and for that I'll ask my dear colleague senators not to interrupt, first of all, so that we can make progress on this. Please, can you proceed, Bwana CS?
Thank you, Chairman, and I will really ask your protection so that I deal with the matter, and then questions can come after I have responded to the issues. And Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, just as I've said, I appear before this honorable committee of Parliament to answer to matters raised in your letter dated on April 2024. And the first question, because it's important if the matter is being handled live and being listened to for purposes of the public to also hear and follow up, because it's a matter of public interest and national interest. I want to respond to question number one. And the question number one is on the policy and institutional infrastructure anchoring the subsidized fertilizer program, including parameters set to identify suitable parameters. That's the question. That's question number one. When I'm done here, I'll go to the second, third, and fifth, and the sixth. Mr. Chairman, I wish to respond as follows in regard to question number one. That by way of background, the chair, I think is important also to people to understand how we came up with this program. And in the year 2006, which members probably would appear boring to them, but this is the genesis and where we started. The heads of state and governments of the African Union endorsed the Abuja Declaration on Fertilizer for the African Green Revolution as a continental strategy to reverse the worrying trends of poor productivity in the African soils. And the declaration focused on targets required for agricultural growth, food security, and rural development in Africa, because this is a continental or serious problem. And the declaration also recommended the establishment of African fertilizer financing mechanisms with the objective of improving agricultural productivity. And the government of Kenya, in the effort of realizing 100% food and nutrition security, has promoted agricultural production through enhanced access to agricultural inputs. And one of those inputs is fertilizer, so that we are able to achieve that goal or those objectives. And you know, the government has run different subsidy programs since 1990s. And our fertilizer program, Chairman, is also anchored on various policies and institutional framework, which are geared towards ensuring there is access to food. And you know, food is a fundamental right as provided for in Article 43(1)(c) of the Constitution of Kenya, and government has an obligation to protect this right within its means and has ensured to ensure household food resilience. Chairman, you know we have the Kenya Vision 2030, the Agricultural Policy 2021, the Agricultural Soil Management Policy, which I have pushed through during my tenure at the ministry, which provides for support to access to farmers to access inputs, this fertilizer since for improved production. Chair, you know we have also the agricultural sector transformation and growth strategy that seeks to realize food security agenda through the promotion of an innovative, commercially oriented modern agriculture. And Chairman, the National Food Nutritional Policy is the last document that we are implementing, which was adopted in the year 2011. And this, Chairman, so that all of this is geared towards ensuring there is the efficiency in the management of our food systems. And Mr. Chairman, why we are doing this and this fertilizer subsidy program, you know, is being implemented through an e-voucher system to enhance seamless access of fertilizers, to avoid fraud, to avoid intermediaries and those cartels or brokers that probably would just want to take advantage of our program, because it's customer-centered. It gets directed to the beneficiary. So, and Chairman, I must also say, for us to get where we are, to having registered under 6.4 million farmers in this country within a very short time, it's not easy. And I must also thank the government of Kenya. The government of Sweden and the FAO, because these are the partners who gave us a grant to be able to register our farmers to run that exercise, and that has made it very easy for us to distribute fertilizer through an e-voucher system. Mr. Chairman, that is that is the policy and the institutional infrastructure that anchors the subsidized fertilizer program. And I want to address you on the parameters that we use to identify fertilizer, or the type of fertilizer that we are giving out to our farmers. Chairman, the ministry, of course, you know, we have the Kenya Agriculture Livestock Research Institution, and in collaboration with the various stakeholders, have taken various soil standards, sampling to determine the soil fertility and erodic status of our soil. This took some time, and Chairman, most of our soils are sick because of independence of, for example, fertilizer like DAP, because they make the soils acidic. And the noise we hear about this, whatever people are carrying in their minds about fake fertilizer, is a problem there's a problem I was trying to deal with last year. Because when we said we are not giving out DAP because of that problem, there was resistance, because people didn't know what the new requirements of the fertilizer were. So it's not something that is really far from what has been happening. So our distribution of fertilizer, our chemical composition or formulation of fertilizer is based on standards that have been undertaken by the Kenya Agricultural Research Institute and Livestock Research Institute, and we have identified, we have done a sort of mapping with different, on the different nutrients and the deficits available from all the regions of this country. And that is what has been used to advise on the appropriate fertilizers that we are applying for us to be able to increase our production. And I want to give an example, Chairman, that from the report, we are able to establish, for example, was in Gishu County, Kerio Marakwet, Nyeri, Empu districts requires fertilizer that has more composition of nitrogen, phosphorus, calcium, and magnesium, because those sources from those particular areas are deficient of those particular nutrients. Phosphorus deficiency is highly dominant in parts of Kisii, Nandi, Kericho, Nakuru, Nyandarua, Narok, and Kiambu. So the Lake Victoria, nitrogen and sulfur, which is also another very important nutrient, is you find that deficiency is mainly in those the Lake Victoria shores and the coastal strip, including parts of Siaya, Bungoma, and Machakos. And the nitrogen, phosphorus, and calcium is also, and nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus is also highly deficient in areas in Kiroigoya and parts of Embu. And the remaining parts of the country, and other remaining parts of the country. So these results are the ones that informed the ministry on what type of fertilizers really to use, because of the effects that they may have to fertilize our soils on application. So with that, Chairman, I think I raised the issue on the institutional policy frameworks, the parameters set out in the choice of fertilizer that we are using. The second question, Chairman, is asked to provide a comprehensive brief on the process of procurement of the distributors of fertilizer in the year 2022-2023. And my response is as follows, Chair, that the National Cereals and Produce Board has played a crucial role in the procurement and distribution of fertilizer under the National Subsidy Program. And the government, in its letter dated 19th October 2023, which is annexed in the document, as annexed 1, gave directions to NSPB to start the process of procuring of the current fertilizer requirements for the country within the law and within the budget that we had secured from Treasury. And Mr. Chairman, the procurement was done through an open tender, and on 21st November 2023, the tender was advertised through the Standard and the Star newspapers, which is in an Annex 2, and the tender was also posted in the NSPB and PIP website. And Chairman, prior to us taking over the distribution and the purchase and distribution of fertilizer, you remember, immediately last financial years, this process was being undertaken by the Kenya National Trading Corporation. So it is in this financial year that for the first time, National Cereals and Produce Board is procuring fertilizer on behalf of the farmers. Chairman, the quantities of fertilizers that we have been able to distribute in this financial year, also there is an annex and there is a table that is attached showing the various types of fertilizers and the areas that they have been supplied. But it is, I think, important for also me to mention that the distribution of this long rain season is ongoing. We are not over this yet, and the season is ongoing. We are distributing fertilizer on a daily basis. But as at 4th of April, a total of 2,387,164 bags of fertilizer and been supplied, delivered to various counties for the long rain season, and the tables are there, Chairman. And I think there is a question on the list of suppliers who are wanted to supply fertilizer on page 6 of my response. The names of the suppliers are 11. They are listed there, Mr. Chair. The list of all the suppliers that were qualified moved from 11 from page 6 to 7. And table 2, Chair, that was on table 1. On table 2, you use also the list of suppliers that are abandoned and supplies subsidized fertilizer. The subsidized fertilizer on page 7, you will find that there's a company there, SLDR, Minjungu, MEMS Distributors and Care Chemicals, Itracom, FOMI, ETC, ETG, OCP, all the way to number 12. Chairman, which is on page 8. So, Chair, I think the question there is also the role of KEPS. You know, the KEPS, Kenyan Bureau of Standards rule is on the confirmation of quality of the important fertilizer and undertaking market surveillance of locally produced fertilizer blends, and in addition, there are also issue permits for use of any standardization mark. That is the role of KEPS. Chairman, you've also asked the list of counties to which fertilizer has been supplied. The list is there from page 9, and all the counties are listed up to page 10, including the fertilizer distribution per county, which continues up to page 11. From page 11, you also find that we have also become magnanimous enough and generous. We've given you the list of even the centers that fertilizer is being distributed in every county. the amount of fertilizer distributed from that center, either on planting or top dressing, and the totals, and the same continues from page 12 all the way, Chairman, to page 32. Every county with its centers. Chairman, you've also, the other question you've asked me is I give information available on alleged distribution of fake fertilizer, including evidence of steps taken to establish status in the country. And Chairman, I think this is where probably my answer may not be very appealing to the members or anybody else, but I have a duty also to be truthful. And my response is my ministry is not aware about alleged distribution of fake fertilizer to farmers. And I would want to, if you allow me, Chairman, to make a statement on what our observations are, what we have seen, and probably what has led us to where we are today. And Chairman, on 18th of March 2024, we found videos circulating in the social media with farmers and the public displaying fertilizer which from the physical appearance seemed not to be meeting the standard. That's what we saw. And the fertilizer was identified as Keongin NPK 1026-10, manufactured by KEL. On 20th March 2024, the ministry directed NSPB to cease delivery and distribution of that particular fertilizer so that we would be able really to check and understand what was happening. Samples were collected and submitted for analysis by KEFIS to confirm their quality for compliance. And during the same period, to that time, my permanent secretary actually did a letter for purposes of record to ask NSPB to stop that distribution. This was meant to ensure due diligence was done to protect the farmer, because when in matter that was likely our potential to cause panic, we became quite sensitive and wanted to know exactly what it was. Chairman, samples of fertilizer distributed and the subsidy program, we have analyzed them and we have confirmed that all the fertilizers except that from KEL Chemical all meet the required quality requirements and good for continuous distribution. KEL Chemicals manufacture and distribute fertilizer branded Kelphos and Kelphos Gold NPK 1026 did not meet all the required test parameters. That is the test parameter that was not met, and this is the area